Zippity doo dah, zippity day. It is Thursday, the 7th day of July 2022. I'm Dan Coombs. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Live channel. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Got a pretty good show for you today. We don't normally promise you a 5-star show on a Thursday, and we're not going to today either. Had a little bit of rain last night. In fact, about midnight last night, I woke up and a little bit of thunder, and I went outside, and not only did we have a little bit of thunder and some rain, saw some lightning too. It's cool. We got through it. All right. It was kind of unexpected, but the unsettled weather will continue a little bit today. We're in for a significant warming trend. You folks out in the Columbia Basin, you're going to be getting near 100 by the early part of next week, and we're going to get downright hot too. In fact, a long stretch of sunny, and I think we can safely say hot weather is right around the corner. We got to get there first. It'll really start on Saturday, start getting warmer on Sunday, warmer still Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to be under the influence of a pretty strong and robust high-pressure dome. Keeps all the other weather out of here, and we start cooking. So the temperatures will be rising. Forecast details are coming up. We've had temperatures below normal. We only hit 75 yesterday. Our normal high is 85. We were 10 degrees below normal. We've been saying temperatures below normal since April, but it is what it is. Forecast details are coming up. News. We have some fresh details on that helicopter crash about 4 miles south of Orondo yesterday with some fresh video from the Douglas County Fire District number 4. We'll show you that when we get to the news headlines. Sports don't have any Mariner highlights yesterday because they didn't play. But they start a 4-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays coming to T-Mobile Park. Toronto travels really well. Of course, Toronto is Canada's team. And they usually bring a lot of fans down from Canada, from British Columbia and Vancouver to Seattle whenever the Blue Jays come to town. There have been times when there were more Blue Jay fans at the park than Mariner fans on Mariner home games. Hopefully that won't be the case because the Mariners are playing good baseball. We'll preview that. Apple Sox came out on the short end of the stick, however, against the Kelowna Falcons. We'll talk about that in sports. It's Thursday, Pause for Pets. Xavier the dog needs a home. We'll introduce you to Xavier from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society and see if we can get Xavier a permanent home. And we're going to revisit our interviews with our friends at Columbia Valley Community Health. We talked to a couple of the members of the board. We talked to Laura Leon and Sasha Slayman, who were part of the decision-making process when it became time to replace Dr. David Olson. And they brought in Manuel Navarro, and he'll also be a part of that conversation. We'll have that 2-part conversation in the back half of the program. Clouds and 61. Let's go. Let's start our tour around north central Washington. For a lot of people, this is the highlight of the show, and then they probably tune out. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from our Wenatchee Heights camera. Spotty sunshine on the Sunny Slope area and up near Fancher Heights, and there's a bird or a bee or something. Still green. Look at that little patch of green in the lower left-hand corner. Normally, we're all browned out in the foothills by now, but with the cool, wet weather we've had all through April and May and June, we're holding on to quite a bit of green shrubbery around the valley. Good morning to Wenatchee Valley. It's so good to see you. Camera number 2 is Tucker's Choice. Captain wants to look at the snow, and the snow we shall look at. I want to say that's the Black Mountain camera. It is not the Black Mountain camera. I want to say perhaps Nanapoc Ridge. Okay, Steins. Okay, what camera are we looking at, Captain? That's the Badger Mountain camera? Wow, you have that baby zoomed way in there. So that what we're looking at is probably, as the crow flies, 30 miles from the Badger Mountain camera. There is snow. That's the enchantments, yeah. Wow, great. That's stunning. Way to go, Captain. That's using your old noggin. Not bad for somebody with a slow leak in his head. Camera number 3. Camera number 3, which follows 2, but is... there's Waterville. Hi, Waterville. Wave back to me. Wait a minute. If you look carefully, you can see Ken Osborne's house. There he is. Good morning to Waterville, the county seat of Douglas. From was that the Waterville camera, or is that what camera is that? Oh, okay. Thank you. Rue Canyon camera, but looking at Waterville. Hi, Waterville. Great to see you. Camera number 4 is a big body of water we like to call, I want to say you're messing me up today, Captain. I don't know what we're looking at. That's the Lake Chelan. Is that from the Union Valley camera, or is that the Manson Water Tower? That's, okay. Well, we're looking up towards Manson, Rose's Lakes. Okay, that's Wapato Point, Manson area, I guess we're looking at. You go around the corner, and then there's more water. See, that's very deceptive of you. That's not like the captain. He's usually a straight shooter, but he's playing with my brain today, and who's kidding who? That ain't too hard to do. Good morning to our friends in Manson, in Chelan. Right now, Manson, it is 54 degrees here in the big city. It is 61. Temperatures are going to start climbing. We have this little ditty for you from the National Weather Service. Wenatchee, I believe, is in red, so take a look at the red, and you can see it just gets higher and higher and higher. Moses Lake, you're going to be pushing 100 degrees. So's Lewiston, Idaho, for that matter. Slightly cooler in Spokane, but that happens. But yeah, the warming temperatures are on the way. And if you're looking for a long stretch of sunny and hot weather, and I think we can safely say hot, it is coming from the National Weather Service. Here we go. Little unsettled today. Still some clouds for the most part. Today we'll see some sun breaks, but the clouds will get the upper hand for the most part. About 83, give or take a couple. Very little wind, no rain in the forecast. 58 for the overnight low tonight. Clouds still hanging around on Friday, I'm afraid, but still the occasional sun break. Just a couple of degrees, maybe a degree warmer on Friday with a high of 84. 57 for the overnight low on Friday night. Into the weekend, we're now well into mid-July. By the time we get to Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it's going to start feeling that way. We'll get to 84, which is about normal, with bountiful sunshine for everybody. Going to be beautiful Saturday, beautiful Sunday. So sunny and warm, but not hot. And then we get hot starting on Monday. And unlike yesterday, as you can see, we will have weather on Tuesday and Wednesday. That was not the case yesterday at this time. By the time we get to Thursday, we could be upper 90s, but we're certainly going to be in the mid-90s, and possibly Monday, certainly on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the overnight lows very mild indeed. So if your air conditioner hasn't been doing a lot this summer, I know mine hasn't, get ready. It's going to get a workout starting early next week for an extended period of sunny and warm weather, and I, for one, approve. Like that means anything at all. It's 8 minutes after the hour. After a 1-minute break, we will have your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
Got some clouds hanging around, 61 degrees. Clouds they're going to have the upper hand for the most part, with a few sun breaks today. Highs will be in the mid-80s today and on Friday, with still some clouds hanging around. But by Friday night, they'll be exiting the area, and we'll have bountiful sunshine, highs in the mid-80s Saturday and Sunday, and we warm up even warmer in the early part of next week. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A helicopter crashed yesterday morning in an orchard south of Orondo. It sparked a fire. It left a couple of people injured. Look at that dramatic video. The crash at about 9:20 in the morning occurred on agricultural land near Weaver Road and Longview Road. That's about 4 miles south of Orondo. The aircraft reportedly collided with power lines in the area, then came down on a tractor and a sprayer that was operating in the orchard. Douglas County Fire District 2 Public Information Officer Kay McKellar said 2 people suffered minor injuries in the crash. One was the pilot and one was in the tractor. It sparked a fire, sent up a column of black smoke that you could see for a long way. Douglas County Fire District Number 4 Chief Jim Oatley said the power lines had to be de-energized by the Douglas County PUD before the firefighters were able to extinguish the fire. The fire had consumed both the helicopter and the tractor. As you see there, pyro was restored, by the way, about an hour later. I'm glad to see everybody got out of that pretty much unscathed. Chelan County Sheriff's deputies are seeking a Leavenworth man. They believe he has been burglarizing vacant cabins and homes and businesses throughout the Upper Valley. 33-year-old Kevin M. Waters is the suspect's name. He's charged with possessing and trafficking in stolen property stemming from numerous burglaries, including vacation homes around Lake Wenatchee, as well as a March break-in at the Leavenworth Ski Hill Lodge. All told, thefts and damages from the burglaries exceed $50,000 in value. That is Waters on your left there. He drives a blue 1997 Subaru Legacy with primer gray front fenders and stickers in the rear window. He allegedly drove away from police when they attempted to pull him over back on June 21st. This was a traffic stop near Lake Wenatchee. By the way, another suspect in the thefts, 31-year-old Jesse Andrew Reeder. He was arrested last month. Anybody with information on where Waters may be is asked to call Rivercom's non-emergency line at 509-663-9911. A Leavenworth man who crashed into another motorist in Wenatchee a year ago has pled guilty to DUI. 33-year-old Hussein Abdul Hussein had a blood alcohol level of 0.19% when he ran a red light at the intersection of Mission and 9th in July of last year and crashed his Jeep into a northbound Mazda sedan at the intersection. He was initially charged with vehicular assault, but he pled down last week to a lesser charge of drunken driving. He received a suspended sentence that allows him to serve 30 days in jail starting at the end of this month. He has to pay $600 in fines. He must also spend 2 years on probation, and he loses his license to drive. Wenatchee police arrested a 26-year-old Wenatchee man after he allegedly stole a firearm from a trailer. This happened on Monday night. Police say Victor Flores Beeson was arrested on foot in South Wenatchee on Tuesday after he was identified from surveillance footage of the theft. He reportedly had the AR-15 rifle in his possession when he was arrested. Flores Beeson was booked into the Chelan County Regional Justice Center on charges of unlawful possession of a firearm, theft of a firearm, second-degree vehicle prowling, and third-degree theft. A 44-year-old climbing coach from Vancouver is dead. He fell from a sheer rock face in the Leavenworth area. This happened on the 4th of July. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says Brian, you're looking at the AR-15 for the previous story. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says Brian C. Caldwell, he was climbing with a partner on Icicle Buttress, that's a rock feature, south of Leavenworth, when a storm front moved in on Monday and the two began their descent. His partner reached the ground shortly before 1 p.m., but then Caldwell's anchor apparently failed, and he fell about 100 feet. His partner contacted a Forest Service ranger. That ranger called for aid, but by the time rescuers arrived, Caldwell had passed away. Chelan County Coroner Wayne Harris said the climber suffered blunt head trauma from the fall. Chelan County Fire District 3 and other rescuers recovered the climber's body. The state Supreme Court says the former chief prosecutor for Grant County pursued a racist line of questioning while selecting a jury in an assault case in which Moses Lake police left the suspect unconscious after his arrest. Garth Dano, who stepped down last year as prosecutors, asked prospective jurors their opinions on immigration, border security, and undocumented immigrants. The defendant in the case, Joseph Zamora, was a U.S. citizen. The jury convicted him of 2 counts of assault on a police officer, despite the fact that police punched him in the back of the head, tasered him, choked him, pepper sprayed him, and left him comatose during his 2017 arrest. The state Supreme Court on Friday ruled that Dano's questioning amounted to prosecutorial misconduct, and they threw out Zamora's convictions. Justice Charles Johnson wrote, and I'm quoting now, "The state-sanctioned invocation of racial or ethnic bias in the justice system is unacceptable," end quote. And finally, on Friday, our friend Mariah Thornock began her tenure as the newest director of the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. I had a chance to talk to Mariah earlier in the week about her new role. She's a longtime employee of the museum, and now she takes over from the departing Kenny Sturgeon.
When Kenny let the board know that she was leaving, the board decided to bring on a recruiting firm to help them with the search. So this was a nationwide search that they undertook, but they really focused it in the Pacific Northwest, looking for somebody who had museum experience, nonprofit experience. And they spent some time deciding what they wanted the position to look like, if they wanted to make any changes from Kenny, particularly knowing that we wanted to, do big, great things in the future and find a person that would fit that. This spring, I decided that this was the right time for me to throw my hat in the ring, as you'd say. So I went through the same process that everybody else did. Definitely the in that I had is that I know the museum has a really solid vision for where it wants to go in the next 5 to 10 years. And so my job is to embrace that vision, which I already did. I think it's amazing. But then talk about how I would be able to fulfill that vision, how I bought into it, how I see that vision rolling out, and even after that's done, where are we going to go next? 10 years from now, where do I think that we could start to take the museum in a different direction or build it up further? So mine was that you've got an amazing vision. I'm bought in. I love it. Here's how we're going to make it happen. I know the challenges that some of our staff is facing. I can help them in a higher capacity. I also get to take time to dig in with all of the staff on things that they're working through and see how we can support them better. Whereas I had my team before that I worked more closely with. So this is going to give me a chance to work with the staff in a different way. It's also going to give me an opportunity to go out to people that you knew me as director of operations. Now you get to know me as executive director, and hopefully those relationships will blossom as well.
She's going to do a good job. Take my word on that. That's what's making news at 17 minutes after the hour. We will have a newscast, as we always do, Monday through Friday at 5, 6, and 10. Also available for you to watch on our Facebook page and on our homepage. And with a preview of tonight's newscast, the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will have our weekly Pause for Pets feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Get ready for a slow warm-up beginning today with temperatures by the end of the weekend and next week into the low to mid-90s. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Dan will have the latest on the Mariners and the Apple Sox. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. I always watch the news, even though I know what it is, because I work next to Grant. And if you have a news tip, get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can go to our homepage and click on the Contact Us icon. You can call us on the phone number that you see at the bottom of your screen, or you can just stare and look at the enchantments and forget all about that. It's a free country. When we come back, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion. It's Thursday, Pause for Pets, and we'll get to re-air the interview I got to do with Manuel Navarra, the brand new CEO and COO of Columbia Valley Community Health. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. You really are. If you're just still watching.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
20 minutes after the hour, the Wenatchee Apple Sox scored first, but they didn't score last, and that was the most important thing. They lost to Kelowna last night. The final was 4-1. Joichiro Oyama extended his hitting streak to 7 games in a row. He had an RBI base hit in the third, but Wenatchee stranded 13 men on the base paths. They scored first for the second straight day. Then they gave up the tying run in the fourth, and then the go-ahead run scored in the seventh. 2 more insurance runs for the Falcons scored in the eighth. Jack Moffitt pitched pretty well. He struck out 5 in 4.1 innings. That's both season best for him. He was relieved with 1 out in the 5th inning by Mason Philly, who retired the next 5 hitters, but they couldn't close out the deal. Michael Danavini recorded his 3rd consecutive multi-hit game, by the way. He helped get the rally going for the Apple Sox in the 9th inning. They had a comeback. He had a base hit. Matt Halbach recorded his 9th multi-hit game for the summer with a double down the left field line, but then 2 consecutive pop-ups ended the game. Again, the Falcons beat the Apple Sox 4-1. Wenatchee could still win the series and the season series if they win tonight in Kelowna. Giancarlo Shin will start the 3rd game of the season for his start for the Apple Sox. First pitch, 6:35, and you can listen to the game on their flagship station, Sunny FM, with our good buddy, Storm and Joel Noren. Seattle Mariners begin a 4-game series at home. They'll be at T-Mobile Park taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. The M's are now 41-42. That's good enough for second in the American League West, but they're still 13 games behind Houston for the division lead. But Seattle is riding a 4-game winning streak. They've won 12 of the last 15 games. They've won 5 consecutive series. They're within 1 game of 500 for the first time in over a month. It's also a matchup of 2 of the most exciting young players in the game. The Mariners' Julio Rodriguez, the Blue Jays' Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Rodriguez winning the AL Player of the Week award on Tuesday. He won the AL Rookie of the Month award back in June. He is a rare blend of power and speed, Mr. Rodriguez is. He's hitting .277, 15 homers, 43 RBIs, 21 steals, and a .823 OPS over the 82 games he's played this season. Marco Gonzalez gets the start for Seattle. He beat the Jays in Toronto back in May. The Jays have not yet named their starter. We don't know who it is, so you have to tune in to Root Sports at 7:10 tonight and find out who Toronto is starting. And it's also the free game of the day on the MLB website, MLB.com, which I am a proud subscriber. 22 minutes after the hour, this is some of the games that people are playing. There were 4 obscure holidays I could have chosen. I could have chosen National Dive Bar Day. It's National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. It's National Strawberry Sundae Day. But no, stuck a feather in his hat and called it, it's National Macaroni Day. Ironically enough, as I did my research, macaroni, the pasta, is pasta, so it's Italian by nature. But the word macaroni is actually Greek. Didn't know that, which means something about elbow. I guess when we think of macaroni and cheese. I mean, that's what you do. It's macaroni and cheese. The first macaroni and cheese recipe dates to 1861. Ms. Beaton's Book of Household Management for cheese macaroni. It wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to make. This was 1861. The game changer came 76 years later after that recipe in 1937 when Kraft came out with the boxed version of the now famous mac and cheese, and this was 1937 during the height of the Depression, and a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese was cheap and easy to make and had a long shelf life, and all you needed was a little bit of milk and a little bit of butter and a box, and you could feed a family macaroni and cheese without having to spend a great deal of money. And now, of course, it's all over the world. And by the way, you can buy the Kraft macaroni and cheese box and then go online and look for recipes for things to add to it. So it's just mac and cheese. Just a thought. Always a favorite with the kids. Happy Macaroni Day. Macaroni and Cheese Day apparently is another day altogether. Celebrate it with somebody you love. It's 24 minutes after the hour. Today in history, things weren't going good for the Union Army in 1863, and Abe Lincoln said, volunteers aren't going to do it, so we're going to have to start drafting people. The United States began its very first military draft ever on this date. 139 years ago today, you could buy your way out of it for $300. $300 was a lot of money in 1863, and you could simply buy your way out of it, and a lot of men provided substitutes. And a lot of eligible men pooled their money to cover the costs if any one of them was drafted. That's what they would do. A bunch of them would get together, and they would all put together $300, put it in a kitty, and then if any of them were actually drafted, they would take the $300 and buy a substitute. The other way of procuring a substitute was to pay a soldier whose period of enlistment was about to expire. The Army liked that because they didn't have to train a raw recruit. They already had a trained veteran. Of the 168,000 men who were drafted into the Union Army, didn't volunteer, but were drafted, of those 168,000, 116,000 of those were substitutes. They weren't actually the people who were drafted. The first military draft started on this date in 1863. Speaking of the Civil War, July 7th, 1865, 157 years ago today, after a military tribunal, which got a lot of controversy because after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, they rounded up all kinds of people, even people who had almost nothing to do with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. But they eventually tried Mary Surratt, Lewis Powell, David Herard, and George Axelrod in a military tribunal, not a jury in a regular courtroom procedure. The idea was we were under a military war at the time. A lot of people criticized that. The courts were open, but it's a lot easier to be convicted by a military tribunal than it is in a court of law. They were convicted, and on this date, Mary, Lewis, David, and George were hung. Mary Surratt, who owned the boarding house where the conspirators holed up after the assassination of the president, was the first woman executed by the federal government. Talk about swift justice. July 7th, 1865, 157 years ago today. Happy birthday to the Hoover Dam. They began constructing the Hoover Dam on July 7th, 1930. It's an impressive engineering feat, named after one of our least beloved presidents. In fact, it was a publicity stunt. That's how it got its name. In 1930, during the opening ceremonies on July 7th, 1930, the Secretary of the Interior, Wilbur was his name, he traveled to the site to mark the official opening of the dam project, and he said, "I have the honor and privilege of giving the name to the structure. It is going to be called Hoover Dam." So the Secretary of the Interior named the dam after his boss, who was perhaps the most unpopular man in America. The Hoover Dam. They began building it on this date in 1930. And finally, we talked about Elvis recording That's All Right Mama a few days ago. Well, 68 years ago, just 2 days after he recorded it at Sun Studios, Elvis Presley made his radio debut when WHBQ in Memphis played That's All Right. Dewey Phillips played That's All Right on his Red Hot and Blue show. Listeners phoned in, said, play it again, play it again. Who is this guy? He played it all the time for the 2 hours remaining on his show, and then he got Presley on air. He asked Elvis Presley what high school he went to. Elvis Presley said, "I went to Humes High School in Memphis," which meant that Elvis Presley was, in fact, white, which nobody knew at the time. Elvis made his radio debut. And at 28 minutes after the hour, birthdays. Satchel Paige threw his first pitch in professional baseball in 1926 for the Chattanooga White Sox, and he played his last game in organized baseball in 1966 for the Peninsula Pilots. He had a 40-year baseball career. He was born in the state in 1906, died in 1982 at the age of 75. Satchel Paige, perhaps the best pitcher of all time. Those people who saw him play say he was perhaps the best pitcher of all time. The great Satchel Paige, born in the state in 1906. Richard Starkey, Ringo Starr, MBE, is 82 years old today. Fortunate enough in the summer of 1962 to leave Rory Storm and the Hurricanes and join the Beatles. The rest is history. Peace and love to Ringo. From Ringo, he's 82 years old today. And by the way, he's the richest drummer of all time. Again, it helps when you're in the Beatles. It's 29 minutes after the hour. Still to come, an opinion from Mike Mad Dog Minotti. My conversation with Laura Leon, Sasha Slayman, and Manuel Navarro of Columbia Valley Community Health. But first things first, Xavier the dog needs a home. It's Pause for Pets.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm the volunteer coordinator here at Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. And today I have with me Xavier. Xavier's about About 7 months old, so he's kind of a big puppy, but as you can see, he's actually a really lovely puppy. He's not one of those wild, crazy ones. He's super sweet. He's kind of, he knows his basic commands of sit already. He's treat motivated. He likes his people. He does go to playgroup, and so he plays with a lot of other dogs. He's kind of more on the gentle side of playing with them, so he likes polite dogs, but he listens to corrections from our other dogs if he does get a little too much. Overall, Xavier is just awesome. He's going to be a great dog for somebody that's looking forward to training a younger dog, possibly go on adventures. We think he's part Vizsla mix. Not really sure what all he is, but he looks like he's going to be a pretty big guy. Overall, I mean, Xavier's really great. He's been kind of one of the overlooked dogs here at the shelter. Hasn't had a lot of interest, and we're not really sure why. He comes across first. He wants to come out here and smell and take his time and kind of know his area. But then once you spend time with him, he is all about you. So if somebody's willing to come here, meet him, spend a little time with him, I'm pretty sure they're going to fall in love with him.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for quiet hour. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
This is the NCW Live concert calendar. Fridays, it's live music at Alta Cellars in downtown Manson from 4 to 7 p.m. Sunday, it's Succession Winery located between Chelan and Manson with live music from 2 to 5. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante present music on Mondays at 4 p.m. weekly. Check the individual websites for more information. That's the NCW Live concert calendar.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Bruce Springsteen is a Jersey boy, and that's pretty cool. But his song, Glory Days, always kind of bothered me. I always thought it was depressing, particularly the line, well, time slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories to tell of. Now, this is my goal. I never want my glory days to be behind me. I always want them to be something ahead. No matter how old we get, I think we ought to need to keep stretching ourselves, keep trying to top the good stuff of our past. Glory days? Maybe sometime tomorrow. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high-energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're in the boardroom here of Columbia Valley Community Health on their Orondo Street campus. They have other campuses, of course, and they're a growing organization. We'll talk about that with the new full-time CEO. He had the interim tag taken away just a few weeks ago, and now he's got the gig full-time. We'll talk to Manuel here in just a couple of minutes. We'll do this interview in two parts. Laura and Sasha, introduce yourself to our television family, please.
Sure. My name is Laura Leone, board president for CVCH.
And I'm Sasha Slayman. I am the board vice president for CVCH.
Do you know Robert's Rules of Orders?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
When my brother was elected mayor, we got him Robert's Rules of Order as a book. It's huge.
Yes.
How can you keep track of all that stuff?
And there's different editions, so
yeah, there is.
We have to keep up.
Just for the uninitiated, what does the board of Columbia Valley Community Health do? You are the overseers. You are the top of the chain.
We do. We actually look at the organization from a 30-foot angle.
30,000 foot.
30,000 foot angle, yes. And we oversee and approve budgets and policies.
You have the final say in hiring for the most part, right? For the upper echelon people?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Our only employee, quote unquote, would be the CEO. The CEO and HR handle everyone else.
Why do you do this? I mean, you don't have to. It's strictly a volunteer thing. How did you get involved?
You know, it's really interesting. CVCH was the first clinic I saw as a child. So I think for me, it's full circle. I'm passionate about being able to provide access to those who need it the most, and it was a way to give back to the community that I'm a part of.
And it strikes me that you believe, like a lot of people do, myself included, that basic access to basic health care is a human right and not a privilege.
That is
That's
correct.
really the underside, the basis, the foundation of this entire organization, isn't it?
It is.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Sasha, you're no stranger to the Valley. You went away, made good, came back, and we love that. I mean, you were born and raised here. You went and sowed your oats, and you returned, and here you are.
That's a phrase.
Yeah.
I moved back in 2019 and kind of dove right in, got involved in the community, and I love being here back home. I love being a board member for CVCH. I think I am the newest or second newest to the board. I joined in August. Healthcare is something that's incredibly important to all of us, but my family works in healthcare, has my whole life. I come from a teacher, a preacher, and a healthcare worker. So it's really important to me to be able to give back in the healthcare community as well. So.
When you left the Valley to pursue professional goals, was it always going to be, one of these days I'll come back?
No.
It was never in the plan? It just kind of fell into place?
You know, that's a great question. I think when I was in college, it was hoped to come back, and then I didn't see what I would be able to do coming back, and I had these huge aspirations to be in a big city and completely change where I'm from, if you will. Not where I'm from, but just my experiences. So I went to big cities, and once I was there, I was like, no, that would be really nice to actually know my neighbor and know the people that I work with better and do community service, things like that. Because when you live in New York City, what community is very different than what community is here.
Yes, it is. Take it from somebody who's been to New York on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
I've served on any number of boards. I was recruited to every board I've ever served on in the 30 years or so I've been on various boards. How did you land on the board of Columbia Valley Community Health? This is for both of you guys. Did you say, I want in, there's an opening, I heard about it, or were you recruited? How did that happen?
So I actually was recruited. I, too, like Sasha, left for a really long time and was in New York and came back to someone who I actually served or worked with at the Employment Security Department right after college. So she actually currently serves on the board and recruited me, and it's been a done deal since.
Yeah, we actually lived in New York at the same time. We just didn't know each other.
Wow.
So, Wenatchee always brings people together. I was also recruited. David Olson, when I joined at Schlang County doing homeless housing programs, asked me to come be on the board. Homelessness and assisting those who are unsheltered is a huge component of CVCH outreach. So he had asked for me to come on and help with that piece of things and give that insight.
You mentioned David, who stepped down at the end of January after great years of service to the Wenatchee Valley and to Columbia Valley Community Health. That job cannot go unfilled, so Manuel was brought in as an interim to keep the gears rolling and keep the doors open and everything, still with COVID going on. And then you guys had to start the process of finding a new chief executive officer. And my guess is you're probably pretty happy when you put out the word we have an opening. You got 57 applicants. That's a good problem, isn't it?
It is. We worked with a search firm, and so they had a network of hundreds of people that they reached out to. They let us know that about 150 or so people were targeted, and 57 of those were interested. We actually received 6 candidate profiles, so those are who we got to vet. And then they kind of vetted through everybody else. But yeah, I mean, even 6 people in a hiring market like this is really exciting to be able to sit through and get to know.
Talk about the vetting process. 6 to 5 to 3 to 2 to 1, I suppose, something like that. I'm just using math. Talk about the vetting process. At what you had 6, and at that point you're meeting them one-on-one, or how did that work?
So we did interview virtually for the first 5 candidates. And I think at the very beginning of the process, it was really important for us to involve leadership here at CVCH. So we did ask for personal characteristics and professional qualifications that they would like to see in the future CEO. And that was very helpful. I think that both the board and staff aligned very well in what we were looking for. So when we did look through those 6 profile candidates, we did invite 5 to meet virtually, and then narrowed it down to 3.
That survey was huge. That was our first jumping off point, even before we had the contract signed with our search firm. Doing that survey with the leadership team gave us so much information on their priorities and what they valued. And the overlap if you take the Excel document and see all the responses, is huge. Honesty, integrity, transparency, community, all of these wonderful things. And what was great about it by the end of the process is once we got down to our 3 candidates who came physically to CVCH to talk to the staff, we solicited feedback from the staff at that point. As they met, they could take notes and give us those, and we were reviewing those. We could go through and see what the staff and the leadership team saw in them and what words they used to describe them, and then go back to see what that survey said. And it was fascinating how many of those attributes came out when people would talk about Manuel. And that was so nice to have that when we were looking at our top 3 finalists and ultimately choosing Manuel. That was huge, that he was reflecting all of those attributes, whether it was the professional qualifications or the personal attributes. It was huge.
When it came down to the final decision, how hard was it? It can't be easy. I've been in these situations before as a board member, choosing somebody to lead a sizable organization with a high profile. How hard was the final decision when it came down to it?
Honestly, Manuel shined. I think he emerged from the group. From the very beginning, I think that like I said before, we knew exactly what we wanted. And throughout the entire process, I think he rose to the top.
You agree with that?
I do. I mean, it was a hard decision in that it was such a big, like Laura said, as the board, we have 1 employee, and this was the time that we get to hire that 1 employee, and the weight of it and what it means for all of the staff. So it was definitely a difficult decision, but I think all the way through, Manuel kept shining, and so in a weird way, it was actually a horridly easy decision as well, but it seems terrible to say that it was that easy, because it was also difficult, if that makes sense.
It does.
But we had great candidates, and what I love about a national search process and an executive search in general is that you get to see what's out there on a really, really large scale, and then compare the different talent pools and the different people's experiences. And it was so rewarding to have at the end the person that we knew and had here and was excelling here in the organization be the one that objectively rose to the top. So that's what I love about just going through a whole process.
And even though he was the temporary gatekeeper, the fact is he wanted he actually wanted the CEO job,
right.
which says a lot. There was, I'll just take care of things until you find somebody, and then I'm going to go back to the back office.
Yes.
I'll let you handle the final one, Laura. As the president of the board, you made the call, right? You called Manuel and said, we would like to formally offer you the job. Was that your job to do?
It was.
Please walk me through that phone
But
call.
I actually did do it with my entire executive committee.
Okay.
And it was really cute, actually, because I think he was as nervous just as much as I was. And we meet pretty regularly. And I did let him know that we were making a decision that evening. So I'd let him know that we were going to inform all candidates whether they were elected or not, or selected or not. And so it was a long meeting, and he texted me and he said, so did the board come with did they, select someone? And I said, actually, we have a question. And we called him, we FaceTimed him. And gave him the, congratulated him really, and said, do you really want it? So he did, and here we are.
Yeah.
And Manuel went from temporary to full-time, and he will be joining us when we come back. Sasha and Laura, thank you for joining me.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. Good luck and keep up the good work with the board.
Thank you so much.
Yep. The man himself will be joining us when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Again, we're here at the boardroom of Columbia Valley Community Health on their Orondo campus. There are more campuses and a pretty sizable project going on the east side. We'll talk about that with Manuel in just a little bit. Manuel Navarro, you and I chatted, early spring, I want to say, after you took the job, interim job after the retirement of David Olson. They picked you to step in and keep the factory bells blowing. And you got the big gig. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk about as soon as they said, of course, obviously, David is retired. We have to keep open. We need somebody to run it day to day until we find a new permanent. Well, you said I'm going to be in the running from the very get-go.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I've always enjoyed my time here at CVCH, love the organization, love the community. I've been here a little over 11 years. And as the chief operating officer, have been integrated into everything we do. So work closely with David. He actually was a good mentor and helped develop me as a professional. And then when he stepped away, and I was given the opportunity to do the interim, I made it clear that yes, I'd like to do that, but also that certainly would like to become the CEO if that was in the running. So.
And so you filled out the form, I suppose, and then you just went about doing your day-to-day job and kept your fingers crossed, and because you're in a unique position, you're still answerable to the board. At the same time, the board is going to pick David's replacement, and they might not pick you.
Right. No, I mean, as the COO, I had been working with the board for the last 4 or 5 years, and so had good relationships with some of the ones that had been here a while, and then certainly Laura and Sasha as they joined the board recently. We were working remotely really as we were doing COVID, didn't have the board meetings on site, but so I was comfortable. I think they knew kind of what I was able to do. I really appreciated their effort. I'm glad you had an opportunity to talk to the board members. I mean, they're just really the heart and soul of what we do here at CVCH. A lot of people ask me, who owns CVCH? And I say, well, the community does, but maybe more specific, the patients do. As a 503c corp, we are board driven, and 51% of our board members, who are all community members, have to be patients at CVCH. So, and I tell them they're great. I'm super excited about the energy they bring in their role, which is a volunteer role, as you mentioned. And so I knew that not only was the organization great, having worked with them as board members, they were solid, and it'd be a privilege to step into the role as CEO.
There are high-profile jobs in the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington that are high-profile, well-paying jobs, and this is one of them. This is one of the bigger ones. You're now the
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, you're the public face of this organization. Is that something you're willing to tackle? Because that's a skill you're going to have. You're the guy now.
It comes with the job. I don't really look at it as me as the organization. It really is representing the organization. And I'm proud of everything we do. I'm proud of everybody that's here, our providers, our support staff, our board. So it's not an issue stepping in front of everyone, stepping in front of the community and saying, we are CVCH. They make it easy for me to do that.
And David Olson, Dr. Olson, pretty good guy. I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah.
Here, he had some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, during his time here, we grew immensely. I think he brought a lot of experience previous from his work in the Valley and then outside of the state. But like I said, I came up as a CEO under David. I learned a lot from him, and I don't think he would have left if he didn't feel like the organization was ready for a new leader. And so he didn't leave it in bad shape for sure.
You mentioned growth. You can't miss it. If you drive by in East Wenatchee, you drive up 9th Street and you get up to Eastmont and you go, wow, what is that? What's happening? Well, we know what's happening. You're growing.
Yeah. As I mentioned last time, one of the biggest challenges we as an organization, I'm sure across the United States, are facing in terms of healthcare is access to services. And we know that the Valley is growing. We constantly are struggling to meet the demand of our patients and communities for access. And so the board, we sat down, looked strategically what we needed to do. We presented a plan to the board. They approved, and we got the funding and have started out building our new East Wenatchee clinic on the East Wenatchee campus that we had previously owned out on 9th and Eastmont. And so our plan for that is to build a 25,000 plus square foot medical, dental, behavioral health clinic. We'll have 10 medical providers, 2 psychologists, 2 dentists, a hygienist, a pharmacy, and then other support services. And we hope to finish that sometime spring or summer, fall of next year. And then we have a second additional building on that campus that will be starting out here in a year to accommodate our growth in our behavioral health realm. So we'll be bringing on, not only moving our existing therapists to that building, but also have room for additional therapists and growth in that. That is one of the fastest growing needs.
Why is that? Why the exponential growth in the behavioral health care thing? How can you get your hat on that? What's going on?
Well, it's the crazy world we live in, Dan. I mean, it's crazy. No, I think ultimately it's the realization that healthcare isn't just about physical health. It's not just about coming to see a doctor and getting a pill. As human beings, super complex, and a lot of that is around just kind of our own emotional health as well. So, we consider ourselves a fully integrated primary care medical home, and behavioral health plays an integral role in that. And as we learn more and more about how we can help people, we're realizing that a big chunk of that is behavioral health.
How can you get the message across to people who say, gee, I really need to see a doctor, or I got this thing on my tooth, or I don't know I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I'm barely making ends meet as it is.
Yeah.
And I can't afford a ginormous medical bill for what might be wrong with me.
Right.
How do you get the message across that that shouldn't be a concern?
Well, I think one of the staples of a community health center is we cannot turn anybody away for inability to pay. We're not a free clinic, as I mentioned before, but we make it affordable. Now, if somebody comes to us and they don't have anything in their pockets to do a copay, or if they have a balance due, we don't turn them away. We still see them. We work with them to figure out what they can pay, offering a sliding fee that's in proportion to what their income is at the time, or making payment plans. But regardless, we never turn anybody away if they're seeking health care here at CVCH.
You strike me as the kind of person who doesn't like to sit in his office very much. You don't strike me as I'm going to go in my office and I'm going to turn on my computer monitors and I'm going to go to work. You're out there, right? You're on the campuses, you're doing it.
I'm the CEO now. I don't know. I may just stick with no, obviously not. No, I think part of the joy that I get from working in Community Health Center is the connection with the staff, because they're people like me. We're here for a mission and want to help. And so I get energy working with those types of individuals. And then, of course, we're here for the patients. So there's nothing more that I get. Anytime I walk the hallway, there's always an opportunity to say hi, to smile to somebody. I'm bilingual, so I love the fact that I can, speak to people in Spanish. It's always surprising when they see somebody in a suit talking to them in Spanish. But and then just offering a hand, directions, a wheelchair. I'd like to do more, but the law won't let me. So that's pretty much as far as I go when helping people medically.
Talk about just a couple more questions for Manuel Navarro, the new CEO of Columbia Valley Community Health. A couple more questions. I'll cut you loose. I know you're busy. The process is done. The board is going to meet. They're going to make the final decision. Did you sit down with your wife at one point and say, I think I'm going to get it? At any point during the process of selecting the new, was there a point where I think I got it? I don't know.
I will give kudos to the board and Laura and Sasha and all of the other individuals. I was working with them throughout this whole process in time, and we were at events, and I wanted to be respectful of the process, and I wanted to be respectful of the weight of the decision they had, and I certainly didn't want it to seem like I was owed anything. So I tried not to ask, but they were good at not letting me know anything. So we were working together, and I may have dropped so how's it going question or so, but they were pretty professional about it, and I appreciated that. I think it goes, it certainly legitimizes the decision in my mind, and I think the organization and the community should feel confident that they went through a pretty extensive process. We're very professional about it, and I believe they chose the right person, so I'm excited.
Any organization of any kind of pertinence has a vision, a statement, if you will. Most of it's cosmetic. Hey, it looks good on the stage.
Yeah.
Just throw it up there. It's not the case here. Here at Columbia Valley Community Health. Let you, Manuel, take it home from there. You're the new CEO. Whatever message you have for the community out there as you move this organization forward, I'll let you take it home. It's all yours.
Yeah. Well, our mission is partnering to achieve optimal health and wellness with dignity and respect for all. And, organizations regularly review their mission statements to see if it's the right one. We have the right one. We're confident our ultimate goal is to not only partner with patients, with each other and the community, but with the community as well, because the only way we're going to make the valley and its population healthier is to involve everybody in that. So we're here to partner. We're looking forward to it, and ultimately, dignity and respect. What more can you say?
What's a good day for Manuel? We'll leave you with that. What's a good day for you when you leave the office and turn off the lights and go home? What's a good day?
Knowing that I partner with my coworkers to achieve our mission each and every day.
Congratulations on the job, and if you need any help, I'm a phone call away.
Thanks, Sam.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm a phone call away.
If you need help, we're a phone call away.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Brian's Pizza and Bowling is changing their name to That Pizza Place. Now, there's still your same favorite locally owned family pizza and bowling center, That Pizza Place. Come hang out in downtown Cashmere.
The NCW Life Channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCW Life Channel today.
Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge in Leavenworth has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and dine with beautiful views of the mountains. Do you have a special occasion coming up? Call Crystal's to reserve their event space. Whether your event is grand, intimate, or casual, Crystal's provides unforgettable food and superb service. Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, proud to be serving fabulous food and drinks. All right, let's not waste any time. For the National Weather Service, one more quick look at the forecast. We're going to see some clouds today. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Clouds tomorrow. Highs will be in the mid-80s. Sunny on Saturday, still hanging around in the mid-80s. But here comes the heat wave. The long overdue summertime weather will be arriving by Monday. Get ready for the warmth. Bring it on. That's it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.